What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? It's your host, Adam Perez, coming through once again with a brand new video today, as we're here from APlus Morphinominal, about to tackle our first ever Ultraman series review, guys. That's right. I almost wanted to pull the trigger for Ultraman Z. There was something that was really urging me to do so, but unfortunately I never did. But ever since I started seeing some of just the promotional art, some of the magazine scans, getting more information about Ultraman Trigger, there's just something that told me, you know, I've been wanting to dabble in some Ultraman for years and I've never had the opportunity to do so. So why not start today? We wind up having ourselves a brand new series. Why not go ahead and dive into it? I'm a sucker for anything sci-fi related. Just talk about colonization on Mars. I feel like I'm there immediately. So they definitely hooked me. And again, Ultraman is certainly a character I've always wanted to dabble in a little bit more, but I've never had the opportunity to do so. So Ultraman Trigger, here we are, guys. So we'll be bringing you guys reviews on a weekly basis for this particular series. This is my very first Ultraman series, so if you are new to Ultraman like myself and giving it a shot, yay us. Congratulations on making that big first step. If you guys are used to Ultraman and big fans of the franchise itself, thank you very much for certainly joining us. If anything, please be lenient on me in regards to, again, this is in fact my very first Ultraman series I'm going to be tackling. So that's one of the disclaimers I certainly would like to throw out there. My second disclaimer I definitely would like to throw out there: I tend to butcher names, okay? I certainly don't mean to, but Japanese is certainly not my first language. So if maybe the pronunciation sounds terrible, if maybe I'm just butchering the name as I'm saying it, I promise you when I say I'm really trying my hardest, guys. So don't at me. I don't need no corrections. I'm certainly doing my best. I mean, listen, if you want to correct me and help a brother out, that's more than fine. I'll certainly continue to try and do my best. But just some disclaimers, okay? I will be butchering names, even though I clearly don't mean to, and this is my first Ultraman series, so again, don't at me if I'm not making connections to previous stuff, okay? Other than that, guys, yeah, I'm ready to get on with this. Listen, Fridays, this new episode drops, so if you guys would like to watch Ultraman, if anything, again, Ultraman is being simulcast over the same time it's being aired in Japan, but it is being broadcast onto the Ultraman official YouTube page, and it will in fact have English subtitles for you, so you can certainly watch along as it's airing live for the very first time. I believe this episode came up about maybe 7:30, I believe, Central Time here for me on Friday, so I'm expecting it to drop each and every week around that time. When we're gonna drop the reviews, I'm still debating on that. Maybe if I have time, I might go live late Friday evening, like either like 8:30 p.m., 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Maybe we'll do like a live after show or something like that. If I don't decide to do that, I'll definitely have a review available for you guys by Saturday evening for sure. So you guys can certainly count on that. But I gotta say, man, for my first Ultraman series, I was impressed. I really enjoyed what I wind up seeing in here. A nice introduction to the world. Clearly, I certainly have my question marks. I don't necessarily know if it's question marks based off of me not having seen the previous Ultraman Tiga series or Tiga series from years back. But everything that I've read says that Trigger is supposed to be like a recreation of that series for a more modern time. I don't know if that means that it's a legit adaptation, just modernized, or they're trying to bring back the Ultraman Tiga character in a way for modern times, but you still need to have seen the previous series. So there are some questions that I have. I feel like there's natural questions in here in regards to mystery alone, but I'm wondering if some of my questions might have also been answered in the previous iteration, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So a part of me wants to kind of, on my own terms, on the side, kind of go back and watch that previous series, but I'm not sure if it's absolutely necessary. If it is, if you guys are aware of it, please let me know in the comment section box below what you guys certainly recommend, especially based off of what you wind up seeing here in the first episode. But regardless of the questions that I certainly have, really enjoyed the main character in Kengo in here. He definitely jumped out at me. I do love the mystery. I love the idea of like ancient civilizations, right? So the idea of excavating a ruin on the planet of Mars, finding out that it is also connected to other ruins that might have been found on Earth as well. That definitely adds some intrigue to kind of know that there's like 30 million years of like history, or at least dating that far back, that this Ultraman Trigger sort of mythology kind of began. That type of stuff really fascinates me, and to see how those myths and legends kind of affect people in this series, whether that be just seeing how much they followed the legend and the research that they've been doing, or just the idea of how that power can attach itself to somebody that it just kind of calls itself to them. You know what I mean? So I really love seeing how it winds up attaching the Kengo in here. Again, I really appreciated the character. I thought the world building was pretty good, like the introduction to Gut Select, letting us know about maybe the past that happened 6 years ago with the monster attack on Earth, and really what the Earth in response wind up doing. Like some really cool designs for the was it the Nurse Desi, if I'm not mistaken, their battleship, their anti-alien battleship sort of thing, along with their Guts Falcon, which is an AI sort of controlled like a jet or whatever the case may be, that they can kind of send in at early notice if they need to, sort of thing. So really love just the imagination and the creativity already that's kind of gone into this episode. Again, the idea that this episode takes place on Mars fascinates me. The idea of seeing like a place that's been colonized on Earth to kind of support life. I thought the action in this was pretty incredible, to say the least, right? Like for me, while I've seen Ultraman action, I've never actually watched an entire episode to really appreciate the tokusatsu sort of element behind it, especially in here. And just with today's graphics and special effects, I mean, it just looked otherworldly to see this action in place. Like these two gigantic giants, if you will, just pummeling the hell out of each other. It has a really significant different vibe to me than that of like a Super Sentai battle, you know, just because of the fact of the robots and things like that, and some of the monsters being a little bit kind of clanky, you know, clunky if is probably the word I'm looking for. You know, just big and not as maneuverable sort of thing, but to kind of see just regular body movements, very athletic body movements, it hits differently. It just feels different. So I absolutely love the action in here. And again, the camera work I thought was great. The green screen effects also, just that sort of perspective and point of view that you wind up getting from like being just somebody on the ground looking up at these giants kind of fighting over ahead of you, flipping, the camera angles going above and below and behind sort of thing. It feels very much like a Super Sentai team battle, just kind of giganticized, if you will, with some of the really great creative camera work and camera angles that we've seen from Super Sentai and Kamen Rider series so far. They've been able to manage to carry that over to Ultraman to almost seemingly like perfect it, if you will, because it just looked breathtaking alone. The weapon choice in here, what did they, I did write down the name of the weapon, the Zephyrian sword. I thought looked incredible, great in battle also. And one of the things in this series that really jumped out to me was the music. I mean, some of the emotional like strings it was able to kind of tug on just from proper timing when it comes to a great musical score really went a long way for me, especially when we get to see Kengo henshin for the very first time, or transform for the very first time. Really gripped at me, honestly. And even when we get to see Chairman Shizuma speaking with Kengo, trying to figure out like the type of dream, you know, what the future that he dreams for himself, sort of thing. Just that rousing music accompanied with it really had some impact and really carried it home. So yeah, great characters, great action. The musical score was top notch. Great special effects, to certainly say the least. And I really liking what I'm seeing so far. A couple characters that I do want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about Kendo, because Kengo here is in fact a botanist. lives with his mom still. They also both work at the same company together. And he winds up coming across the ruins as well as he's trying to reach out to his mom, has to ask his mom a question. And in the process of reaching out to his mom in the ruins, he winds up touching the side of the wall or whatever the case may be. And that Ultraman Trigger powers immediately attach itself to him. He starts glowing, right? I thought it was a cool effect to see him protect himself. That was pretty neat, but clearly you get to see it certainly is very worrisome of Kengo until he fully realizes the power that he's kind of acquired for himself. For me, a couple quick shots in here, kind of going back to great special effects work. Get an opportunity to see Kengo inside the Ultraman. The fact that him embodying that that body, if you will, just that sort of heads up display, right? Like that GoPro kind of view, just looking back at the character. But you're also seeing elements of like Ultraman traced over his face. Really, really cool designs in here as well. But the kid that plays Kengo in here, I'm not exactly sure the actor's name, but I think he's incredible. I think his range is phenomenal, and the fact that he can reach sort of that emotional point so much, it's going to get me each and every time. I'm a sucker for somebody that seems down or desperate and has to reach deep down inside of themselves to stop something, right? For me, it just adds just a whole nother element to understanding and feeling the intensity of the battle. And if Kengo's going to be giving me those glossy, teary-eyed eyes and the struggling to get his voice together and like just pull all his emotions out when he confronts these enemies, is going to get me hyped. I can just easily tell. So I love the range of this kid already. Great smile, which I will say this. If there was any downside to the episode that kind of wasn't sure how I felt about it, it's probably when Chairman Shizuma asks him about the future that he dreams of, right? I get the metaphor, like I get the connection of what he means by smile, because when he talks about seeing the people around him struggling and having to do things day to day, right, it definitely makes you feel like he wants to be able to provide people with some sort of hope. Not to say that everybody's life there on Mars is hopeless, right, but people need something to be happy about, to smile about, right? To be hopeful for. So when he says the idea that the future that he dreams of for himself is to make people smile, it's a little cheesy to me. It's a little cheesy to me. But I get what he's trying to say. I just wish that maybe he did a more of an emphasis to add a little bit more levity behind it. Add a little bit more reasoning behind it, if you will, instead of I just want to see people smile. That just feels very simple, surface level reason, you know what I mean? I really would like to see him truly go into depth as to what he means by that. And initially, I just think he just means the idea of giving people hope. And I think, listen, that's a great reason to certainly want to do what you're doing. I'm definitely not knocking it. I'm knocking the choice of the simplistic concept of I want to make people smile, type of thing. He's got a great smile though, so it definitely fits him. It definitely fits him as a character. I definitely get it. But I think for me, I was going for a more emotional punch as to what he wants. But everybody's got their reasons for doing something, right? I can't fault him for that. Again, I just wanted a little bit something more in depth from that particular moment than what we got. But again, it's always a great reason to certainly fight for something. But yeah, great stuff here, man. I'm trying to look at some of my other notes. One of the things that I will say, another character that really jumped out at me outside of Kengo was probably Chairman Shizuma. This guy to me just has a gigantic question mark around his name and who he is as a person that I definitely need to know more. I don't know if he just knows all this information because of research or if he himself has some sort of immediate connection to maybe a past Ultraman, right? Because when he does meet up with Kengo, he does reference somebody that once sort of grasped their own destiny with their own hands, and we got a quick clip of what looked to be another Ultraman. I'm assuming that's probably from the original Ultraman Tiga series. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not quite sure. But definitely go ahead and let me know. So he seems familiar with another Ultraman in the past. So again, that's why part of me is wondering, like, do I need to rewatch this other series? Because Chairman Shizuma clearly knows some things that I don't. Also, the fact that he calls out what the monster was, the Golba, right? But he calls it a Golza, but then he even references, he says, no, it's mixed with another monster, which was correct, which was a cool monster design as well for Golba in here. Apparently two monsters that have been fused together. So the fact that even Chairman Shizuma knows that, again, I'm wondering, is that from research? Do you know the aliens and the monsters that this previous Ultraman from years ago originally faced? Are you that Ultraman? Like, are you that human embodiment of Ultraman, right? Like, I really want to know what his connection is to all this at the end of the day, especially because Homeboy comes pulling out his guts. What do they call it? The spark lens or whatever it is. The gun that clearly can transform into the Ultraman Trigger transformation weapon. I mean, he comes out here and just shoots the gigantic monster, which great effect, mind you. The defense systems on Mars look fantastic as well. But that spark lance weapon that he pulls out, pretty impressive stuff, right? Like, how do you go about creating that unless you've had previous encounters with them? I know that they had, clearly monsters 6 years ago on Earth. I'm assuming maybe he wound up creating that to face off against them. But how does he know it's going to go ahead and help trigger an Ultraman transformation? You know what I mean? And he hands this to this kid with the understanding that he probably is going to become the next Ultraman or whatever the case may be. So what Chairman Shizuma knows, I need to know. And he's got a big question mark over his head right now as to how he fits into all of this. Because clearly he's the one that helped put together this Mars colonization, or at least the digs to find these particular ruins. I wouldn't be surprised if he's also attached to the terrestrial peaceful union that put together this Gut Select crew also. So he definitely has some connection. I mean, the fact that the guy literally recruits Kengo at the end of this episode for Gut Select certainly says something as well. So I definitely want to know how much this guy really knows, and maybe as the season progresses, we'll definitely find out. If there is another thing that I do find fascinating in here, is that at the very end, before the episode ends, when we do go to Shizuma's house, we realize his kids are there, right? His daughter along with his son, and when we do get a close-up shot of the son, he doesn't look too happy that Ultraman's back. And the fact that he's holding like what looks to be maybe a spark lens power-up that you put in to maybe transform, I'm wondering if this kid himself, can he transform into something also, or did he expect that he himself was gonna maybe eventually become the next Ultraman, and now somebody else is kind of taking up that mantle? You know what I mean? Has my father given it to somebody else, and I was the next person up to receive it? So I'm wondering what's happened there with the son, but I definitely hope it's something along those lines. But great stuff. It intrigued me and mysterious enough to certainly have me come back for an episode 2. But again, if you guys are familiar with the original Ultraman Tiga series, let me know. Is that something I need to watch before truly understanding everything in here? Or is it really just going to be a recreation for more modern day, as they certainly say? Another quick honorable mention, though, Yuzari. It looks as though, real quick, the Giants of Darkness, right? Because we do see that Ultraman not only is fighting Golba in here, but is also fighting a giant of darkness in the name of Chimera, I believe her name is. Great costume designs. Whoever designed the costumes for this series, remarkable stuff, man. I absolutely love what I'm seeing so far. But Chimera looks badass. The fact that she's got this like lightning, this light whip, looks incredible. Her fight in here with Ultraman was perfection almost. Like the fact that he references in the beginning of this episode that, oh, maybe about 4 o'clock we're gonna get that rain starting to drop, you know what I mean? And so you immediately know what time it is over on Mars when these two are actually fighting each other in the rain. Super cool effect, man. I mean, being able to get all muddy and get all gritty with your ground and pound, and you're trying to like literally force somebody off of you. Just gritty, determined, beautiful, beautiful fight choreography, and just in the dirty sense, but it looked incredible. So I love the villain that we have in here. She clearly has a past with Ultraman 30 million years in the making. So, you know, she certainly woke up on the wrong side of the bed looking for some revenge. So I'm expecting her to bring it each and every single time. So yeah, Chimera impressed me. And then the mysterious character in Yuzari. Now, when I read the fact that Chimera knows Yuzari, it did make me do like some Wikipedia searching, and Ultraman Tiga does in fact kind of come up and mentions that Yuzari is the leader of the Earth Defense Organization. I don't know if that's who she's meant to be in here also, or like a future version of that same character from the series. I'm not quite sure, but it's the character all in white that continues to come into Kengo's dreams, and also in real life situations as well. They kind of speak to him, if you will. So clearly has a past with Chimera, clearly has a past to the Ultraman Tiga series as well. But I'm kind of curious to see how she's utilized, I guess I should say, in this particular series. Will she continue to call out to Kengo, or at least finally give him some answers also? So great stuff overall, guys. I'm really hyped for this. I'm excited to finally get into a brand new series and a franchise that I've never explored for myself. But again, I'm really going to be looking forward to this actor that plays Kengo. Really impressed so far with just his range and his emotions. Chairman Shizuma, I got my eyes on you, and I really hope they continue along with the great action and great special effects, along with soundtrack attached to this. If you can keep that up, I'll definitely be here for the long run, guys. But hopefully we'll get a ton of great storyline as the series progresses. But I want to know what you guys think. Again, these are just my A+ opinions. At the end of the day, I want to know yours though. So let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video airs. And I guess if anything, I'll either see you guys this upcoming Friday evening as we get into episode number 2, or sometime on Saturday. But also, really quick heads up, this Tuesday, if anything, we will be having Zenkaiger and Kamen Rider Saber reviews if there are new episodes. I believe there are new episodes there this week, so check us out on Tuesday for our Toku Tuesday celebration around here. And then of course we will be back live with A+ Morphinominal every Saturday at noon Central Time. But until then, guys, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/A+opinions, and as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.